Thank you for staying with us. As Muslims across the country celebrate Eid-El-Kabir, many will be traveling to their hometowns, going to mosques, visiting family and friends. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has advised motorists to obey all traffic rules and also officers deployed on the Ibadan expressway in order to avoid traffic gridlock during this festive period. While many Nigerians use this period to rest and make merry, motorists are expected to maintain speed limits in their journey within and outside Lagos. Well, joining us in the studio is the Lagos State Sector Commander, FRSC, Lagos Command Corps Commander Babatunde Farinloye. Good morning. Happy Eid-el-Adha.
Thank you very much.
Right. Let's begin with what the Corps is doing differently this time around, because every festive period we hear the Corps come out to say certain mixed statements of motorists adhere to traffic rules and all of it. But what is the Corps itself doing differently to ensure safety on our roads this time?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This time around, we are trying to evolve a new strategy. We call it Operation Orange Impacts.
All right.
We bring out all our personnel, both regular and special marshals, to move around strategic points to ensure free flow of traffic, to avoid congestion, and to prevent road traffic crashes. So men in uniform wear reflective jacket, orange reflective jacket, go do a kind of route lining along all the roads, especially along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, to prevent congestion and ensure free movement along that axis. We also embark on what we call enlightenment at the park. We call it early morning safety cry. People that are, the commuters that are traveling, we go to the park to enlighten them on need for them to also be safety conscious. The vehicles that are going, we try to inspect them and ensure that they are roadworthy. And then the drivers will ensure that they are not driving under the influence of alcohol or any drug.
Interesting. Well, while you try to ensure that the road is safe for every one of us to apply, others will always, want to do their own and then going against the rules. Could you quickly talk to us about some of the challenges you face when it comes to ensuring that we have safe roads?
Yes, road transportation is one of the key elements of a functional, efficient, and sustainable economy in a megacity like Lagos. Road safety has been making frantic efforts, working assiduously towards the realization of its mandate, the corporate mandate of ensuring safety on the road, eradicating ROTC on the road through many ways. But we have some challenges. One challenge we're having presently is the issue of the ongoing construction along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The construction company, they are really trying. But the bottleneck being created as a result of the construction, 4 lanes being now down to 2 lanes, is giving us a very serious headache along that axis. More so, the road users, the commuters, they are not cooperating. There's what I call lane indiscipline. People not maintaining lane, always crossing the lane, trying to beat others to it. It's one of the challenges we are facing. Another thing is the issue of people driving against traffic. Motorists, because they just want to have their way, they drive against traffic. Then these yellow buses, especially, they are stopping at undesignated bus stops to pick passengers and to drop passengers. It's giving us serious headache. It's making the work more hectic than expected. That's one of the challenges we are facing.
Now, you mentioned the passengers being part of the efforts to ensure safety of the routes at this time. Yes. And I would like for you to expatiate on the role of passengers, because as a passenger, all I want to do is just enter the car and let the driver take me to wherever my destination is.
Yes, the passengers, all the passengers inside the vehicle are expected to fasten their seatbelt. But this time around, people at times, they are reluctant. they don't want to use the seatbelt. We call it seatbelt, but we call it safety belt because it's meant for the safety of
your own life yourself.
Exactly. So those people, that's the first problem. Another thing is they cause a kind of distraction because they will tell the driver, you are not moving fast, you are moving, you are doing all these things. At times they will say they want to stop to buy things while the vehicles are moving. These are some of the things we are facing concerning the passengers. Another thing is the issue of somebody will say, change that music, lower the music, increase the volume, all these things.
What sort of people?
They want to be comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things they are doing. We also talk to the passenger. We don't only talk to the drivers, we also talk to the passengers. But the drivers they are really more important in the issue of safety on the road because it's just one person that will need 100% concentration to get the job done on the road. Any distraction can cause serious havoc. It can lead to road traffic crash.
We know there are areas within Lagos where you don't even need the eye of a road safety or even the police to comply with the rule when it comes to cameras, installed in strategic places. Yes. But we don't have these spread across Lagos. But then, how do you think technology can help to ensure smart traffic management, and especially this Eid period? What do you think? Ways that you think technology can be deployed to ensure safety, most importantly?
Technology is very vital to traffic management in this dispensation, this current dispensation. But we're having a problem. Technology must always go with development. When technology comes before development, we are going to have problems. Because the sensitization needed for us, the kind of awareness needed for Nigerians to get the technology to work may not be there. So we need to create a kind of sensitization, awareness among Nigerians before we'll be able to have a successful technological innovation. Take, for instance, the issue of CCTV cameras in Lagos that are arresting people. Some people still believe that it is not coming at the right time. Number two, some people, the insecurity around that camera is another problem. Some people intentionally will go with the intention of vandalizing those cameras. So that's why I say that technology and development should come together.
How would they do that? Because the camera itself can definitely see them.
They can see them. This is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. People do anything to. They can do it in a way that it will not. They will. During this NSAS, remember what happened in Lagos here? People were just vandalizing anything, even traffic lights. These traffic lights, they have been destroyed. So anything can happen. But actually, technology will reduce the stress on traffic managers in Lagos. We don't need to stand on the road and control traffic. We don't need to stop and arrest people. Camera will pick you, and then we'll send a flying ticket to your home, and then the work will be better. But we are still moving. We'll get to a stage where the awareness will be so much. Like in Lagos now, as a smart city, technology is being used for so many things, and it's working. But it is not working optimally the way it's supposed to be. So we are still moving. And I think with time, we'll be able to get there.
All right. Now, the World Health Organization, as it says that one of the key things responsible for fatalities on the roads, especially crashes, is speed limit. And you mentioned it earlier. If we were talking about speed limit, what is the limit we are looking at for persons who are applying, for instance, the express, traveling outside of Lagos, for instance?
Thank you. The issue of speed limit, as enshrined in the National Road Traffic Regulations and FRSC Establishment Act, stipulates that any vehicle traveling on the expressway, especially cars and this SUV category, they're supposed to exceed 100 kilometers per hour. Then buses are not supposed to exceed 90 kilometers per hour. But unfortunately, people do abuse that opportunity because there is no proper ways of checking. One, we are supposed to be on the road and do a kind of speed control patrol. What we call speed control patrol is, we call it mobile speed control patrol. Actually, road safety will be at the forefront. then we'll be leading at, let's say, 105 kilometers per hour, and nobody is expected to overtake road safety vehicle. But these days, it's not possible. Okay, that's part of what I'm talking about. Technology and development. People will say, why are you wasting our time? Then we use radar gun to pick vehicles that are going at excessive speed, above recommended speed. That one was being done, but these days you can see the congestion on the road. It is also not really working. But there's something that is really working now. That's the issue of speed limiting device on vehicles. Speed limiting device is a kind of a device that is installed in a vehicle, and there's a predetermined speed that has been programmed on the thing. So when the vehicle is going above recommended speed limit, there will be a kind of alarm, or the fuel will be cut off, and then the vehicle will be forced to slow down itself. I think that's the best we are doing now. Presently, we're enforcing the use of speed limit device on commercial vehicles, but all vehicles they are expected to install speed limit device. So if any vehicle is arrested, especially commercial vehicles, buses, trucks, and all these commercial buses, we do ensure that they install the speed limit device before they are allowed to leave the premises.
Well, I wonder how that works, because it looks like there is more camaraderie between the commercial vehicles and the road safety itself. They know the routes, they know how to maneuver. In fact, when other cars are waiting, they go ahead of others. And you see a road safety official who will not even stop them or arrest them. So the reputation for road safety, the traffic agency, how do you work in it? Because we've heard of instances where a road is one way, but the signpost will be removed for people to, and then you'll be directed to follow that particular route. We've had several instances. So if you're aware of it, first, whether you are aware of it, and what is your agency doing in this regard to fight this corruption, because it's corruption.
Who removes the traffic sign?
It's alleged that the road safety would direct you, especially when you are not aware of the route, and then you ask them about the route to go through, and they direct you, and somebody else arrests you ahead, and then the person that directs you will be nowhere to be found. But you guys just directed me now, so how come you're arresting me? It's there.
It's not done. It's not done. That is the reason
why.
But
you are aware?
I'm not aware.
Okay.
There's been stories of persons who have fallen into these traps in certain areas, especially in Lagos.
There are some unscrupulous elements that we always want to capitalize on people's ignorance to exploit them. But I don't think road safety will do that. And presently, we're working hand in hand. We are trying to synergize with LASMA to ensure that we're on the same page to have effective traffic management in Lagos. So I don't think that will happen. If a road is meant to be one way, nobody removes the traffic sign there. We're even advocating a situation where all the roads in Nigeria will have the necessary road furniture, embellishment, markings, and what have you, to ensure proper traffic management. So for somebody to remove the traffic signs on the road, I don't expect it to be done that way. Traffic signs are supposed to be for safety and for direction. So they're supposed to warn people ahead of danger. So nobody will do that. But I can assure you that there are times when we have bad eggs in uniform that will stand at a point and be collecting money and allow people to drive against traffic. So we do experience that. That's the only one I can agree with you. And when that one happens, we do report those set of people to appropriate authority for disciplinary action to forestall the occurrence. So it's not out of place to say, actually, some uniform men do compromise. But that doesn't mean that we are working against ourselves. We don't work as corrupt purposes. But the point is, for pecuniary purposes or reasons, some people do stand, collect 500 naira, especially during this ongoing construction along the expressway. They collect money and allow people to pass one way because those people are in a hurry.
Now that you mentioned synergy, talk to us about synergy with other agencies to ensure safety on the roads, especially during this period? What is the situation like? What's the conversation you're having, and what is the way forward beyond this period?
Yeah, the command, FRSC command Lagos, is in close contact with the LASMA. I always talk with the GM LASMA on a daily basis on how we can work together, because working together works. We're not supposed to work against one another, so we complement one another. If FRSC is there, police is there, and NSCDC is also working, we all come together. We carry out what we call a joint patrol, joint special patrol with them to arrest those recalcitrant drivers that are not ready to comply with traffic rules. We do have what we call mobile court sessions too, where police will be work with road safety and others to arrest these offenders that are causing trouble in Lagos Road. Those ones, ordinarily, it is difficult for us to undo them. So on mobile court session days, we'll be able to get them through our collaboration with other sister agencies, and they'll be brought to book. And aside the fines they're going to pay, some of them will be forced to fix the defects detected on their vehicles before they're allowed to go.
Oftentimes, when we talk about road safety, we always focus our attention on cars, vehicles. But then, what about the pedestrians and cyclists? What role do you think they need to play in this regard to ensure that there is, the mitigate against accidents, on our roads? Because they also have their role to play. The person driving and the person who is walking, maybe against or, with the traffic.
Yeah, there's a kind of sensitization that is ongoing. We have what we call domesticated public enlightenment that we do carry out at worship centers, churches, mosques, and other places to sensitize pedestrians on proper use of the road. There's what we call zebra crossing. The awareness is not...
But they will tell you, I heard of a story, somebody crossing, just walking across the zebra, and a bike rider passed across, and then he gave him a knock, like, why are you walking so slowly? And they will even ask, they can challenge you, they say, are you a zebra?
You are right. That is part of the education and enlightenment we are trying to pass across to road users. Even the drivers that are driving, they don't know the essence of that.
They don't stop.
Zebra crossing. And that's why I say that technology and development, they're supposed to work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Or if possible, development should come before technology so that we'll be able to comprehend what we call technology. So what we are doing presently is to enlighten people on the proper use of the highway. Not only preventing accident. If you want to prevent accident, people must have what we call knowledge of proper use of the highway. So we need attitudinal change. We need to work on people's behavior before we're able to achieve that. To get that one done, we go to churches, we go to mosques, we go to public places. Early in the morning, we go to the park. We have what we call early morning safety cry. We do carry with commercial drivers for them to be more enlightened on how to use the highway. Because some of them, they are only driving, they don't know the rudiments of proper road use. More so many people were trained, they were not trained properly. They didn't pass through the driving schools for them to be abreast of the nitty-gritty of safe driving ethics. So that is the problem.
Right. Now, let's talk about the driver themselves, how they can defend themselves from other incidents around them, other drivers. There's something called defensive driving.
Yes.
If you could just shed more light on that.
Defensive driving is driving to stay alive, considering others, because you are not alone. A driver that is driving on the road is driving one vehicle, but he will be so careful to the extent that it will appear as if he's driving 5 vehicles. He will be careful and be watchful. The vehicle ahead of him, the one by his left-hand side, the one by his right-hand side, the one that's coming behind him, because at times you want to climb a bump. You are too slow. Somebody coming that is pressing his phone may ram into you. Yeah. So you will need to check your rear view mirror to ensure that you are safe, so that if there's no for you to pace up and glide over the bump in order not to have rear collision, you have to do that. So you are driving your vehicle, you are taking charge of the vehicle in front of you, by your side and behind you. That's what we call defensive driving. You should assume that every other user is insane. You are the only person that is normal.
Insane.
Insane in the sense that we have so much insanity on the highway. It's not everybody that is driving that is normal. That's why at times when some people are arrested, there's something we call psychological evaluation. We subject them to know. And there are times we'll go on the road, we do what we call sobriety tests for people, because some people are driving under influence.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only alcohol. We have some other psychoactive substances that people do take that will make them feel high, and to alter their judgment, to also disturb proper coordination while on the way. If you are driving and there is a disconnect between the nerves and the muscles, then there's a problem. Because there is always what we call stopping distance. And that stopping distance, you have to talk of thinking distance, braking distance, before you have overall stopping distance. So you have to coordinate everything together. So anybody walking on the road or driving on the road is expected to do so with 100% concentration.
So one quick question before we wrap things up, and in just perhaps 10 seconds, penalties for those who break the rules, especially speed limits and co. Is there any?
There are penalties.
Right, quickly.
The penalty for speed is 3,000 naira. Although it's meager.
That's a paltry sum of money.
Yes, and that's the reason why we do force them to install speed limiting device so that it will not repeat itself.
Right.
Another thing is the issue of all these trucks that are now moving on the road. They are constituting so much danger, hazard on the road. They move without, with container without just locking the container or fastening to the... So we are also working on that to ensure that the road is safe in Lagos State.
All right, we have to leave the conversation here. We must thank you, Lagos State Sector Commander, FRSC, Lagos Command, Corps Commander Babatunde Farinloye, for your time on the program.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
God bless you.